Hello, interwebs. We got a good one today. I'm with Stargate Genius, and today we are talking to Marty from the Dino Lab at Naturalis. Marty, we ran into each other. We're on holiday. My son wants to see some dinosaurs. We sort of stumbled onto Naturalis. It is gorgeous. What an amazing place.
Thanks.
And welcome.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you want to
Yeah,
start.
we are.
Sorry, yeah.
We are with the National Natural History Museum. Always a tongue breaker to start with there, really.
Right.
You suddenly we crossed paths here a month or so ago, and we immediately had fun talking about dinosaurs, of course.
It's such a great setup, which we'll get into. But let's just start with who are you and what are you doing?
Yeah. So thanks for having me. My name is Marty. It's Martijn in Dutch, but that's very hard to pronounce usually. So my friends here in the Netherlands.
Sick of people getting it wrong.
No, my friends even called me Marty back in the day. So I'm listening to both, and it's easier to just be. When I go digging in the United States, I'll just turn into Marty for a month,
right?
And I'll be half Marty, half Martijn when I'm back in the Netherlands again. So. I don't mind being Marty.
Right.
I was a dinosaur kid in a time that a dinosaur kid was actually a bit rare because I was from before Jurassic Park, so the before times basically.
Yeah.
And before Jurassic Park, dinosaurs were a bit of a boring subject, basically, if you can imagine that.
What? Really?
Yeah, there was a time where there was only like 2 books in the library, and they were all like super scientific and
I had the
difficult
best
words.
Sticker book. I had the sticker book with all these like color photos of wildly inaccurate dinosaurs now, but
yes.
Oh man, I love that thing.
Where they were like slow and ready to go extinct at any moment, right?
Yeah,
Remember those times?
And they all
so I'm from that time as well.
Little eyes, and they were always they looked like.
And they were all standing in the kangaroo pose like this, and then leaning back on the tail, right?
They all basically look like the plastic models that the gas company.
Definitely, So ready to go extinct at any moment. So things changed after Jurassic Park. So this is before Jurassic Park time and the after Jurassic Park time. Right. And I was a dinosaur kid even before the Jurassic Park time. I found out at some point that there once were these mythical creatures that once lived called dinosaurs. And I was sold, man. I was like, I have to do. I want to do research in this.
Like, how could you not be blown away by that? I mean,
exactly.
It's insane.
Yep. And the thing was, we had 3 kids named Marty in my class back at school, so they had to differentiate between all of them. And I was called Dinosaur Marty back then already. So Dino Marty was my nickname, which I carried with pride back in the day. So yeah,
so Dino Marty was long before, like as a kid, you were Dino Marty.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's definitely a badge of honor. You can
I'm wearing it. They probably use it to spite me and to bully me a little bit, but I just nowadays I've gotten used to it, and I'm like, it was like an omen of things to come, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I read somewhere back in those dark days when dinosaurs weren't cool yet, on some obscure magazine that you might have to study biology or geology, and I went and studied biology just on this one little blurb of text on the back of a magazine, and it was enough to get lucky and stumble into a job into paleontology, and I'm doing that to the day still, and I couldn't be more happy.
How old were you when you found the book? What age were you when you discovered this was something you could do as a living?
So I found the book when I was around the Jurassic Park times. There was a first wave of dinosaur readings. And there was one pretty good magazine called Dinosaur with an exclamation mark, and that had some.
Of course, because that makes all the difference, you know.
Of course, It had those red and green 3D glasses with it.
Oh, nice!
So you could see 3D dinosaurs. So it was cutting edge, basically. It had a cool comic strip in there that chronicled the Bone Wars. So back in the 19th century, when those old scientists. Really bashed heads about what dinosaurs were living back then, right?
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty educational. And on the back of that were like user-submitted questions. I don't know how real this stuff was. And one of those questions, one point was, how do you become a paleontologist? And if they had translated that wrong into Dutch, I would have gone the complete different studies and wrong studies. but luckily they were right. You have to do either biology or geology. Right. And I went and did biology just on that small little blurb on the back of the magazine.
Wow.
And yeah, now I'm here, man.
God, that's amazing. And you're obviously enjoying it, because I mean, we saw that even at the museum. And what do you do? So how does it work? They've got this, like, it's just, I've never seen anything like it before, because you go into this, I mean, it's almost a shame to call it a museum. I feel like it's almost like damning it with faint praise, because it's more like it's like an art museum. No, it's like an art exhibit, but except that it's all science and it's all things you can learn about. And then you walk in and there's this Dino Lab, literally at the end of the hall. There's a bunch of dino people doing all the work that you expect to see behind the scenes. Exactly. When did that start? When did they start doing that?
Well, this has all been a growing process, basically. So 10 years ago, we decided to do more with dinosaurs in this natural history museum in the Netherlands, where we are famously don't have much of dinosaur deposits around. So that was a bit of an uphill battle. But we got dinosaur material from the United States here. We wanted to get a T-Rex, and we got a T-Rex, which was amazing for us as a museum.
That is a gorgeous T-Rex.
It's super pretty, really. And when we were about to get that T-Rex, we didn't have the T-Rex yet, but we had to get funding from the people, basically. So the Netherlands came together and funded a T-Rex to come to the Netherlands. But while awaiting this T-Rex, we were like, we need to do something to show the people that we're already doing something with dinosaurs, because people are coming in trying to see the T-Rex, which is not here yet 10 years ago. Right. So we need to show them something that we are at least working with dinosaurs. So we were organizing a dinosaur lab, and we were going to America ourselves, and we were digging Triceratops material. Right. And we took that to the Netherlands. And while we waited for that 1 year of us having a T-Rex into the Netherlands, we could already show them that we are working on dinosaurs ourselves by doing the prep work, the preparator work on those Triceratops materials that we found in Wyoming in the United States.
Wait, so the Triceratops was just, you went out there just to look around and you found Triceratops? I mean, it
was a bit of a byproduct of, so we found like an avenue to get a T-Rex, because everyone wants a T-Rex, right?
They're like the movie star. They're the movie star of the
dinosaur world. Yeah. They are like the top star, the most wanted one.
Tom Cruise of
exactly. Back in the day, basically, yeah. So everyone wants a T-Rex, and by we, I don't even mean myself, because I was only a lowly preparator back then. But our director, basically, our CEO, had a, and I even laughed at him for the idea. He said, I think I have a plan to get a T-Rex. We have to get in at the ground level. So not just go to an auction site and see if there's a T-Rex randomly showing up. Right. Because then you'll be too late, and you'll be outcompeted by other musea or rich guys or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So they found a loophole. The hole is, so there's all these guys that before they put something on an auction site, they have to go out and get it. And that's a risky business, because who's going to guarantee that you're going to find a nice T-Rex? There's no guarantees in paleontology. Yeah. So half the time you're going out somewhere all the way in the middle of nowhere, and you don't find that T-Rex. But it's all salaries paid, stuff done, and no money earned at the end of the day. And even if you do find a T-Rex, you're going to spend a year and a half with a dedicated team of just working on the skeleton before you can show enough of that T-Rex to say, hey, museum, want to buy it? It's going to cost you this much. So, and this is all just paying, not earning anything at all. So what we did is we said, we want to go find a T-Rex with you guys for better and for worse, like a marriage proposal,
we'll
right?
Take that risk.
So,
yeah.
Yes. So, and this is the cool part. Even when we failed, we still won, because in 2013, the company we went with, Black Hills Institute, led by Pete Larson, legend in our field, basically.
Yeah, even that sounds familiar even to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's a famous guy, right? He said, sure, we'll go on this adventure, on this fake marriage with you guys. So let's find something. So they called us and they said, you have to come to Wyoming right now because we think we have a T-Rex. And you know what? we didn't have a T-Rex. It's one of those false alarms when they said we're hoping to get a T-Rex, but after digging the entire hill away where we were hoping the T-Rex would be, there was no T-Rex.
So what was the giveaway? What was the thing that they thought they had? Why would they think they had a T-Rex?
Okay, good question.
Marty, sorry, just before we do that, can you move to your left slightly? Yeah, perfect, fantastic. You're just
sorry, I was moving about
as you get excited
from all the animated telling.
Slowly.
Yeah, of course. I was getting closer to you, my man.
I was getting further away.
So the reason they and we expected there to be a T-Rex, I still maintain that there was a valid reason. So in the Badlands of America, what you'd expect there to be is so there are fossils there because they are transported to the top again by just working of the earths basically, but because there's fossils in that sedimentary stone, so layered stone, because that has been formed by floodings. Okay, right. So there were seasonal floodings back in the dinosaur days, and that's great because floodings give you the opportunity for a dead dinosaur to become covered and become a fossil. So there could be dinosaurs here, 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 here. However, there's one big drawback. The drawback is if you're a dead dinosaur and you're a very dead dinosaur, your skin and your muscles are already gone, right? So if there's a flooding coming in as well, you usually lose the small bones first, right? Yeah. They get washed away somewhere else. And that's usually what happens. So usually you find places where you have big bones still together, and if you're lucky, one or two small bones, which make you say, I think I have to deal with this kind of dinosaur. Right. They actually found right foot bones, so the smallest digits of the toe
those little
of a T-Rex foot
okay.
on the surface. So they were like, if the digits are there, the rest is probably going to be there. Right. So we got called up. We ran over there. We flew over there. We already took some press with us, and that was a bit of a oopsies because they spent a week digging the mountain away where they found those really small toe bones. And they didn't find anything else. And the press was there, and they were getting bored, and we're like, uh-oh, we ruined our chance. Luckily, that's further up on the field, it was. Yeah. I wasn't there, only the director was there, and our research lead was there. But I can imagine it must have been super stressful.
I know. Sorry, guys.
But they had one workaround, and this is important for later. A mile away, they found Triceratops bones. And they were like, well, we just go and dig those. And these will be important for later because we came back to those Triceratops bones and we started digging them. Right, Half a year later, we got called by them again, this time not from Wyoming, but from Montana. And they said, this time we made sure that's the T-Rex there, not just some small toe bones. Because we already found the skull. It looks amazing and you have to come over to us now. And that's where everything fell on its place, and we got a T-Rex from the ground level in, basically. Wow. And that's how we got our T-Rex, but also a dig site for Triceratops.
I guess I hadn't. You sort of have this image of dino hunters going out there and digging around and stuff, but of course there's all that infrastructure around it that you don't think of. All of the museums looking for this stuff and competing for this stuff. The T-Rex that you got was extraordinary to me. And what I loved about it is how many times like my son would run back from seeing it and go like, oh my God, that's this, that's damage from this, that's damage from that.
Exactly.
You're not just reconstructing dinosaurs. You're telling a story with all of these, aren't you?
Yeah. The biggest realization for people is those were once individuals. They had a life, they had a personality, they had stuff happen to them during their lives, and we're really there's no stronger way to teach science to kids and adults by letting them know that this was once a living animal, actually. Yeah.
I always think of like dinosaurs as like the gateway science. It's like Definitely. One of those ones where you can, as a kid, you're right away, you've got all the sizzle and all the pop of, the excitement of giant creatures and roaming the earth and stuff. And then that's how you sort of lure them into the biology and the, physics and
Exactly.
the, all the sort of the sciences behind it. So when you're,
100%. Yep.
so you get your T-Rex, you're trying to keep people interested before the T-Rex shows up. What do you do at the lab? Like, what is happening at the Dino Lab on like a daily basis for people?
Yeah, so what we do is we actually prepare dinosaur fossils to show to the people that is actually a pretty. So people are just focusing on the dig always. They're always asking about how do you dig up a dinosaur?
Yeah.
But that's like 10% of the work.
Right.
You go dig a dinosaur and then you come home with huge blocks of plaster containing your bones, but they are still surrounded by rock. And we need to remove that rock and solidify the bones. So what we do is to show the people, we use these small drills that we use to remove rock carefully, bit by bit by bit by bit. And once we've done that, we can solidify the bones that are left behind, basically, with lots and lots of glue and lots of love. And this goes bone by bone by bone. And then finally, we hopefully have enough to form a skeleton. And if we don't have particular pieces, we can scan them, 3D scan them, 3D print them, which are also in our corner over there in our dinosaur lab.
Yeah,
and we can show that to the people as well.
There.
Yeah. I knew you liked them.
Size. There's some good size printers.
Yeah, we have giant printers. Yeah.
It's so when you say are you still using the plaster cast is still what they do with these when they
Yep.
they still just wrap them in plaster.
Yeah.
Like, really? Oh my God, it seems so
our work sometimes is very medieval still, we tried and tested methods, basically.
Fair enough. And that's just to stop. That's just so that obviously they're not going to, break or crumble any more than they are in the way. When you say that when you're prepping those bones, though, like, is that literally like a postage stamp a day of just scratching away at stuff? I mean, how fast do you get through this stuff?
Yeah, it depends. Can I see if I can? This is an experiment, okay? So bear with me. Let me see if I can.
It's an experiment, Marty.
I want to see if I can change my camera around. I probably can't, right? Should be able. Well, no, not while going live. So I'll just. Oh wait, maybe it's here.
Facing it's all good. Back. Oh, nice. Yep. Oh, wow.
So this is my support for my phone just now. Oh, I mirrored, so that's a bit of a head scratcher. So this vertebra we are working on today, and we've been working on it for about a week. So that's about. So you asked about speed. This is about a week's worth, and you can still see that there's rock still on the vertebrae surface that needs to be removed before it's finally finished.
Like, how could you?
That'll take probably another day or so.
How can you tell what's rock and what's bone? Like, how do you even?
So the gray part here is rock and the black part is bone, because if you really zoom in, you can actually see like the.
Oh yeah.
Let me show that. So you can see actually like the fibery structure of bone, really, if you really zoom in like this, right? But you can still see that like this black stuff is really bone, but this gray stuff around it, hopefully you can understand see it a little bit. That's different, right? Yeah, it's more muddy. Exactly. Wow. With that other stuff like this giant.
Oh wow.
This giant fibula over here, right? Pretty.
And then what is tinfoil lunch, or is that what do you use?
We love tinfoil. Our tinfoil is because we use it in plaster casts. So if you use plaster, you need to separate the plaster from the bones, because otherwise the bones will be stuck to the plaster.
And
it's also used. And also we use glue, and a lot of glue as well. And you can prevent your bone being stuck to you or the table by doing plaster underneath it. So by doing a tinfoil, underneath it. So everything is tinfoil here always.
Wow.
Yeah. God, and we have a big Triceratops remnant still here, still in the plaster, right? So this one was too hard.
This is the.
This is my office.
This is the glass section at the end of the Dino Lab, right? That's
exactly, sir.
You have the ventilation system and literally, if you go when everyone finally gets themselves to Leiden for this, which they should, you're literally watching this happen as as you walk through the
Yeah.
museum, and you can stop and go
So,
like, "Hey," and wave and say hi and ask questions.
uh-huh.
Amazing.
So the museum is closed right now, so we don't have any visitors going to the museum. We are just after closing time, so this is actually an exhibit hall
Oh,
with some whale skeletons hanging over there. And this is the dinosaur lab basically, and this is open. So you, if you're not sitting in that little cubicle I just showed you, you can just ask us questions behind that cabinet over there, or on this table over here, or there's
wow.
all stuff going on.
What do
Yeah,
you got going on there? What's that? That looks like some kind
yeah,
of
that's actually a big manatee skeleton that we're reconstructing actually. So
manatee.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Are you must be
the
really good at
skull.
puzzles.
Yeah, I am. That's good for your skills
You're
set
like
to
the
have some
ringer.
puzzle
You're
experience.
the ringer at any kind of a puzzle party.
I'm
Uh,
I'm not allowed to play puzzle games anymore because I beat
yeah,
everyone.
true. It's unfair advantage. Um,
Yep, exactly.
okay, so it took you a week to get through that one vertebrae. How many vertebrae are we talking about?
Yeah, that's the bad part. We're working on big sauropod dinosaurs now because we're finished on our Triceratopses. So the tail alone can have up to 60 to 80 vertebra, and the neck can have another 15 to 20, and the back about the same as well. So we have a lot going on there for just the vertebrae. And then
Wow.
you have the ribs and the long bones and everything, so
And is
lots of work.
this is, I'm assuming, not something anyone can do. You need to know exactly what you're doing to be doing this, or is this something you can bring in volunteers? I mean, can you get help with
Yeah,
this?
we work with volunteers because it's too much for me to do by myself. I'd be spending years and years, and I've already spent years and years working on this. So I can do double the work with volunteers, basically,
Right.
or triple the work. So
Hmm.
every day, volunteers come in here and they work on this with me. They just left after today, and they've been working on this a lot as well. Without my volunteers, I wouldn't be do as efficient as I'm doing if I would do all by myself.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
do they go through some kind of a course or something before they dive into that stuff?
They're hand taught by us. We
Really?
teach them, like just what I showed you just now, right? We start with you were just doing the basics, like this is bone and this gray stuff is not bone, and then you see the realization that you had as well, where you can see that this stuff is a bit more dense and a bit more muddy, and you can see the fibery structure of the bone, and they learn from there. So we take them under our wing like 3 days, full days. So we watch them on their fingers. We just watch them, and we are with them every step of the way. And if stuff
Mhm.
goes wrong, we're with them, and if stuff goes right, we're with them, and we're just celebrating with them. And we just try to teach them, like father, like son, like an internship on steroids, right? We just go with them 3 full days, and then after that, we slightly let them go, and they are standing a bit more on their own 2 feet, and they are still allowed to ask us anything, like, "Oh, am I doing this right? Yeah, I'd rather you ask me if you're doing it right than just drill through something and then oops."
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
God,
that's
that
how
is
we do it,
amazing
man.
though that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, boy, that would be okay. So next time I come, I'll have to do like the 3-day training so I can
Yeah,
do some
you do.
volunteer.
You should. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Okay, I'm told I'm a
Yep.
little low in volume, so I might just up my volume a little bit. How is
All
that
right.
sounding for everyone? We can hear him. It is just noticeably more quiet than Marty. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me just.
I'm just loud.
No, 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 not at all. This is good. His volume. If I go to here, how's that? Oh, I wonder if that's the problem. How about that? Is that better? Did they ever encounter dinosaurs during Stargate Atlantis? We couldn't afford dinosaurs on Stargate Atlantis, I think was the thing.
No.
So okay, so I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
When you are doing something like taking the stone away from these bones, are you the tools are just literally like scraping and scratching, or are there chemicals used? Are there how do you like is it easy to separate that stuff from the actual dinosaur bones?
Not super easy, but not super hard as well. So in the middle, we use not. You can use chemicals sometimes, but not really in American stuff.
Hmm.
So Moroccan stuff, which is real phosphorus rock,
Hmm.
reacts really well to acids, and you
Hmm.
can just acid prepare this stuff.
Oh wow.
But the American rocks don't have a lot of phosphorus material in them. So we just have to use simple drills. So we have a lot of pneumatic cables running around. You might have seen some of them, snaking around on our grounds. And the pneumatics are...
You must have the Dremel.
Yeah, but Dremels are usually... So they're similar to Dremels, but Dremels are turning, right? And these are hammering. So these are more pushing. Okay. So there's we call them actually micro jacks because they're like mini jackhammers, basically, right? So we use baby jackhammers that are just fitted to your one hand, like pens, and we can use them to remove that final pieces of rock when you get really close to the bone. But before that, we can use knives and scrapers, and like you told me, like you expected to be at the beginning. Yeah.
I can feel how obsessive you could get about that. Like how much fun it would be just script and knowing that you are removing this debris from something that was like, how old are these things? How old is a Triceratops or a T-Rex?
Yeah, that's also insane. We are working on, so we have worked on Triceratops and we've finished our first 6 skeletons of Triceratops and they were 67 million years old. And nowadays we're working on sauropod material from more in the west of Wyoming, and that's 149 million years old. God. So those are just numbers, right? But if you think about them, it's crazy, right? The difference between the bones I'm working on right now, the ones I showed you, like the vertebrae, and the one that was in plaster earlier, is 82 million years. That means the difference between those bones is bigger. Wow. That the difference between the Triceratops and yourself, that's insane if you think about it, time-wise, right?
Yeah, that's just I can't get my head around that kind. It's just extraordinary.
Exactly.
And so you say in the past that that you'll go in the summers, you'll actually go and do the digs as well, like so you get both. You're not just in the office the whole time.
No. So we hope to go every year in summer. We go to Wyoming to get new stuff. To be preparing the rest of the year back home, basically.
It's always Wyoming. That's the place to be right now.
So this is only going on for 10 years right now. And we have made good contacts in Wyoming and Montana. So that's where our home is and our base is. I'd love to go dig at some other place, but there's so much digging going on in Wyoming and Montana that we have a 7-year contract on our newest site over there. So if you want to find me in the summer, you can find me for the next 7 years in that general area, basically.
Are there volunteers for that as well? I mean, do you get people to help you out from a volunteer standpoint?
There are, but those are the same volunteers that work here during the year, because it would be something if I would take someone as a rookie to the field in America, and then I still have to teach them what the difference is between rock and dinosaur bone. I'd spend half my time explaining how this stuff works. So we've already tackled that by teaching them how to excavate a dinosaur in a lab setting. And if you can do it in a lab setting, you can also do it in a field because it's just bigger, but same. Yeah.
Oh God, I could just, I mean, it's, I watched, as I said, I was telling you, I was doing my homework and I watched a whole bunch of these, like National Geographic on the digs and stuff. One of the things that I found so hilarious, which I had no idea had happened, was we got things wrong. Like we had dinosaurs with the wrong skull on them. We had, a lot of the, because I was always like, wait a second, how did the dinosaurs change since I was a kid? I'm not that old. Like how do they look different now than they did before? Are I guess the techniques have changed since obviously the technology. Is there any cool sort of tech stuff that you're using now to help out?
Yeah. So to answer your first question, so dinosaurs changed a lot during the beginning when dinosaurs were like. So you have to understand that because we invented glue at some point, we are finally able to get dinosaurs out of the rock and researchable, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So once we got to research them, at the beginning, everything goes. So if someone said, I think it works like this, no one was there to oppose you and say, nah, man, you sure it works like that? Maybe it should work like this. Oh, wow. So because you were the first guy or girl working on this stuff, everything went. So there were wildly inaccurate, that we know nowadays, dinosaurs that were well-meant. No, I don't want to, bash those people because they had nothing to rely on.
Yeah, they're just going on their own intuition, right? I mean...
Yeah. So more and more, we started to understand that dinosaurs are just another organism, which is, a way of saying it. But if you look at it from a biological standpoint, it has to make biological sense. And once we started to see that about 60, 70 years ago, dinosaurs have changed for about the last time. So researchers like Mr. Bakker in the United States, he proposed that dinosaurs have a... So remember at the beginning where we said like the kangaroo pose the dinosaurs that are, standing back on their back tails like that.
Yeah.
It took toys another 30, 40 years to adapt to that idea.
Yeah.
But scientists said 60, 70 years ago for the first time, we think dinosaurs standing like a kangaroo, that's not, we find trackways of dinosaurs and there's never a lump of tail in between those trackways. So we should look at them more biologically speaking. What would be the most efficient form? And I think this is also like a psychological thing going on, because back in the day, dinosaurs, they went extinct. We're superior to dinosaurs. So we, they were bound to go extinct at some point. So they are just, failures of evolution, basically.
Right.
And it took us a while to see they were not failures of evolution. They were around for a longer time than we've been around, and they were highly successful. And then one day, 66 million years ago, they had a very, very bad day, and all of them went extinct. But that was just sheer bad luck. They would have been around still, and we wouldn't have been around still if that hadn't happened. Right. So if you look at them more from a biological standpoint, instead of just a failed experiment in evolution, you'd understand about how effective they were, and say that standing on that hind tail, leaning back on that's not effective at all. That's not what the bones tell us. The bones tell us that they should be holding their vertebrae series, their vertebral column, horizontally on the earth and not just vertically like a kangaroo. And then you'd have a super hyper efficient, speedy dinosaur. And it took until 1993, until Jurassic Park, that the bigger audience finally caught on that dinosaurs are not just a failed experiment of evolution, but something to be respected, feared in the right circumstances. If you would ever bring them back, we'd have a hard time competing with them. And I think that's what changed in public belief about dinosaurs in the last 60, 70 years. But scientifically speaking, dinosaurs haven't changed that much since those 60, 70 years.
Interesting. So it's just sort of the media that's had to catch up with the discovery.
It did. And that's what gave the final push to the dinosaur golden age that we're living in today, where everyone loves their dinosaurs, basically. That was the difference, actually. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I remember that first Jurassic Park movie, and the sequences with like the raptors specifically were the ones where I just went like, oh my God, they're like lizard chickens. Like it was just this kind of, you suddenly start making those connections. And I mean, are you, when you're rebuilding these dinosaurs, I guess now you've got enough reference, but before you'd be looking at existing animals and go like, okay, how does that work? How would that, I mean,
exactly. That's exactly how we do it. So look at it as a biological, not like an anomaly, not like a mythical creature. Look at it as a biological organism. How would that work? And once we started to get our heads around that, we started to see the dinosaurs like we still see them today, because we think that's really, what they were like, right? Just another organism, but a highly effective one back in their days. Yeah.
It's so funny. You're right, because I feel like, and maybe this is just because I was a kid at the time, but it was like they were basically dragons. They were like a mythical
creature that died, real dragons
that don't exist anymore. Except they're better than that. They're actually, we can find elements of them in the world today as well.
That's the power of Jurassic Park and Jaws as a horror movie. When compared to Godzilla, we love our Godzillas and we love our Cloverfield monsters. But at the end of the day, you go to bed thinking, that was fake that they saw. I don't have to worry about a Cloverfield monster or a Godzilla rising up out of the sea, because of course it's fake. But the science fiction of a Jaws giant shark hunting us, or a T-Rex that was brought back from the dead through cloning and other things, is a bit more of an existential fear than a mythical dragon monster.
And basically something that they're playing with now. I mean, there are companies literally trying to bring back woolly mammoths, and how far away are we from trying to bring back the dinosaurs themselves? I mean, it's funny when you sorry,
it's funny you say that, because if you don't want to hear this, cut me off, right? But so the big selling point of Jurassic Park was that it was also a product of its time, right? Back in the 90s and in the 80s, when Mr. Crichton wrote this Jurassic Park book, everyone was crazy about DNA because that was going to be our gateway to the future. So playing with DNA and then seeing what you could do with it was actually great, but also a bit feared. Like similar like we have with AI right now, right? With AI, we're like, it could bring us, so much benefits, but also so much crazy stuff. We don't know what to expect from it. That was the same thing going on with DNA back then. And we didn't know what we could do with DNA back then, but perhaps we could do something like this. Nowadays, unfortunately, not to burst your bubble, we think we have never recovered DNA at this point that's older than 2 million years old. And since the youngest dinosaurs are 66 million years old, we have a long way to go to have some preservational miracle happen where you have a complete genome, not just one tiny little strand of DNA that would allow us to clone a dinosaur. So we're a bit far away from that if it ever is going to happen. But having seen the Jurassic Park movies, maybe that's for the best.
Yeah,
right?
maybe that's just nature saying, yeah, good idea.
Leave it like
when
that.
you say that we've got, so the DNA is not being pulled from anything older than you said 2 million years?
Basically
frozen things are the only thing we're getting anything out of, basically.
Yeah, and like extremely pickled or something like that, right? Where it was stuck in a very acid swamp or something like that. That's stuff that has extreme preservation going on, where there's not much of, because as you can see, our dinosaurs are surrounded by rock, so they are now almost rock themselves. They have become mineralized, which you call petrified usually, right? So that means that there's organic structures have been changed, have been traded for minerals. And unfortunately, one of the easiest organic structures that is made, evolved to break down is actually DNA. Because DNA, we actually have to, untangle when every time we copy a cell or need the blueprint for a small protein to be built, right? Oh, how do we do it again? Okay, let's read this part of our DNA. So there's a handy open hair strip there where it easily falls apart. So so DNA is probably one of the first molecules to go. So that we even found DNA that's probably about 2 million years old is kind of a miracle in and of itself. Yeah, it is. Wow. Exactly.
I mean, is there? I mean, I know one of the things that Crichton played with, and again, I don't want to go too far down this road because I know this is not really you're about the real dinosaurs.
I love my Jurassic Park as well. I can't not,
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I was really disappointed in the last one because I was like, I love the way they progress with their dinosaurs. Like they update their dinosaurs with every movie, and then I was like, we don't need mutant dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were cool enough without the mutants.
Exactly. They're turning into Godzilla and the Cloverfield monster again. I don't have to fear a T-Rex or whatever the other one that was called, because it's not real anymore. So the one thing that made Jurassic Park a scarier monster movie than any other Godzilla movie or monster movie, right? There is a slight theoretical possibility that this one day might happen, which makes you sleep a little less easy at night, which is why it's such a good horror movie.
Well, and if nature can create such extraordinary beasts, it's continuing to do that. I mean, just the other day, it might have even been today, they, a giant octopus of some sort washed up on the shores of a little Scottish town somewhere. I mean, like it's epic. Like we're still constantly, coming up with discovering these new things that have that have evolved over time. Now, you know what? I promised Agnes that I would go to questions earlier, and we've already talked for almost 40 minutes. So, all right, let me get.
That's what happens, man.
It's so good. It's so good. Like I can't tell you how magical it was. Like going to Naturalis and meeting you and meeting a number of people there while we're there. It's such an extraordinary place for getting people excited about this stuff. Like
Thanks so much, man. It's great to hear.
It's just amazing.
Nice.
Okay, let's get to some cool
ringing endorsements.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's what they did with it is amazing. Nice. Okay, Agnes got questions. Golden XX age. Oh, someone's into dinos. What about dino bones in the ocean? Can you somehow excavate them? Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, luckily we don't have to really, because what once was ocean can also be pushed upwards. So the highest point in Europe, at least, like the Mont Blanc mountain in France, is old. That you found shells there that were living, that they're burying, digging in ocean floor back then. So we don't have to. We can just go to. We don't have to spend millions, billions on a James Cameron diving operation to go get bones from the seafloor, because there's so many places in the world where once seafloor stuff is pushed upwards, because you always need pushed upward stuff. That's why we don't have dinosaurs here in the Netherlands, because the Netherlands is a current flooding area, except for the dikes we built, right?
Yeah.
So before we built dikes, we were flooding every year. So that means that all the recent stuff that was living in the Netherlands, like mammoths and stuff, they got covered for free, like the dinosaurs were covered for free back in America. But in America, those deep layers that are deep here underneath me in Leiden in the Netherlands are still deep underneath here. So that's why I'd rather not spend billions on digging a mile deep hole, but I'd rather spend a few $1,000s flying to America, your guys' place usually, and your neck of the woods, and get them just lying on the surface. And also, I could also do this for marine stuff as well. Yeah.
So basically, the stuff at the bottom of the ocean now, it's not ready yet.
Not ready yet. Wait until it's pushed upwards so it can easily get there.
That's so fun. I never thought of that. But of course, that's what you're looking for, old ocean floors, and those are the ones that have come up in whatever tectonic movement. Or that's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't have to. You don't need your scuba diving license then for your,
not yet. No.
Not yet.
And bones won't be done. Like I think we talked about this actually when you were here, right? Remember that there's going to be bones next year and bones next year, because I probably walked by the next best dinosaur on my dig, on my excavation last year, but it was covered under this small piece of dirt and rock still. And because it's high winter now in Montana and Wyoming at the moment, there's probably loads of snow that's being scraped off. Oh, it's getting dark here.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, my big lights are dying right now. But am I still good?
Yeah. I mean,
we'll just keep it like this. We don't have the fancy light anymore.
Exactly. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Are you okay though? You're not going to get locked inside and have to.
Well, it's getting rarely dark right now, so I'll see if I can get to a little bit of a lighter place actually.
All right, and I will look for the next questions while you're doing that.
Nice.
Perfect time. It's perfect.
There's a bit of a spot going on here still that has some light, so I'll position myself there.
Okay, so here's a question from Lily Everden, who says, how long does it usually take to unearth a dinosaur bone? Were any bones ever destroyed during the excavation? And if so, what is done about that?
Well, I have one of my least proud stories is how I destroyed a bone, basically, right? But it happens sometimes. Like I said, those bones, like our most important tool is glue. Without glue, I wouldn't go dig dinosaurs. If we're out of plaster, I'll just deal with it. If we're out of hammers, chisels, I'll just do it by hand or by something else. I'd stick someone else in the earth. But if we're out of glue, I'm going home. I'm not doing anything anymore.
So how are you using the glue? Are you using that to protect things, or what? How does it?
Exactly.
What kind of glue are you using?
We use actually kind of. I'm just outside now, so I could just get some. So we use specific. So these are just super glues, right?
Oh yeah.
However, this super glue, I'd like to show you. This is out of focus a lot.
I'm trying to focus by myself. It's not going to help.
Yeah, man, it's a bit out of focus. But believe me, this is actually super thin glue. If you can see, you can kind of see it around.
Yeah.
It's very watery. So this is super glue we use a lot of. and we use that to get stuff back together again. But we also have like a wood glue like substance that's on acetone base, and we use that to solidify the rock before stuff starts breaking. So there's a precautionary glue, and too late, it's already broken glue, basically.
Right. So what did you break? What did you end up breaking? What was the
So
not to focus on your failures. I just,
Yeah, it's okay. It's a good cautionary tale of not be too arrogant, right? So on my first dinosaur dig, I had in my internship, I got to dig a dinosaur in Switzerland, and that's why in the Netherlands, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed is king, right? So I had some experience. So I was asked to lead part of the excavation of our Triceratopses with our volunteers. So I was like, yeah, I got this. I can do this. And at the final day, we said we're going to get everything out so we can take it back to the Netherlands again. So there was this one femur, so thigh bone, big one, laying like this, and there were some ribs laying like that. And I'm like, I can do this. I got experience, so I can just separate these ribs from this femur and just carry it away. And as soon as my friends and we plastered the rib block and we picked it up, and as soon as we picked it up, and we were like a meter off the ground, right? We heard thump.
Oh, no.
And we just held like some kind of helmet. We just held the plaster cast, and everything that was in it just fell out. And the bones that were in there, especially the one that was in the middle, which was a fibula, which we didn't really see yet. There was a calf bone, basically. That one was completely destroyed. And it kept me up at night for like a year or something. Like, oh, I destroyed that so hard. We took all the pieces with us, but then me and my trusted glue spent like a week. As I was like, I'm not losing any more sleep over this. And that fibula bone that was pretty much destroyed by our failure to see that there was a rib. It was not totally my fault, okay? There was a rib which we didn't see, which bent like this back into the rock. So that made the whole rock around it a bit unstable. So that's why it, like a bag of potatoes, fell out, all of it.
Right.
So I spent a year worrying about this fibula being broken like this. And I spent a week really trying to puzzle that bone together. And now it's stuck in one of our skeletons, and no one will ever know that it was once very broken because we fixed it up again, right? So it looks nice again.
It's there right now?
It is at Naturalis. You've seen it. And hopefully you're not telling me that now. Oh, no. I do remember that bone that you broke, because then I didn't do my job right.
I'm gonna be looking extra careful next time for sure. Now.
Yeah. Try and see if you can see it. It's one of the fibulae, so that'll give you a tip like that. It's
one of those things though that I imagine a lot of it is just like the luck of the draw on some of that kind of stuff. I mean, so like you can do all the prep you want, but if you can't see everything, you're just never going to know. Is there technologies that can help you with that now? Is there ground penetrating radar or something you can use?
Yeah. So if you remember the Jurassic Park scene where everyone says that, there's like this machine where they just boom, they fire a pin back into the ground, and you can see the entire dinosaur just appear before you, basically, right?
Yeah.
That was very science fiction. That's not how it works, unfortunately.
Right.
However, this year we have been experimenting for the first time, our scientific lead, so I'm not really involved in this, by using not a radar, but I've been told this, okay? So excuse me if I'm telling it a bit wrong, but I've been told that, so because rock and fossil are a bit of a different consistency chemically wise, right? One of them can hold warmth, so sun warmth, better than the other one. So we used super sensitive warmth cameras, so infrared cameras that can see where the ground is a bit hotter or a bit colder, and that's where we dig, and we hope to find then more or less dinosaurs in there, because there was a different consistency of chemicals. But this is all pioneering work, and if I'm super honest with you, I have to say I'm not sure how I feel about this yet, because nothing beats the feeling of standing up in the morning on the plains of Wyoming and just hammering away, not knowing what to expect, and suddenly, bam, there's a bone.
Yeah.
And that achievement of finding something, we'd lose something like that if we if we just know, oh, it's over there.
Right.
You know,
you need to stay away from gambling then, because it sounds like it's like that. It's part of the the thrill of that dopamine hit of like finding something in
probably.
that.
There's a lot of dopamine going on when you find your first dinosaur bone. Let me tell you. Yeah.
I'm sure though that the reality is that yes, the technology can help in these things, but it's still also going to come down to people just literally tripping over things as they're looking around. I'm sure, right? I mean, there's always going to be an
definitely. That's why half the dinosaurs are found.
Right. There you are. So perfect. All right, going back to questions now. How are you for time? I don't want you to get, I know this is after hours for you, so.
It is after hours for me, but I love this so much. I'd rather do this than, do other stuff. So we have about an hour before I get kicked out of the museum. So
all right. Well, we'll
max an hour I can do for you guys.
Make sure we get you out before you get locked in.
Exactly. Before the dinosaurs come back to life, right? Or is that another movie again?
Yeah, I thought that was the case, right? You stay there long enough, they're all coming back. Okay, my biggest shock from childhood. This is Agne said. Oh, it's Agne. Hello, Agne. And thank you, Agne,
I know her.
for putting this all together.
Exactly.
My biggest shock from childhood was learning that birds are the successors of dinosaurs and not crocodiles or lizards. Can you comment on that? And is that accurate?
Yeah. So this all goes back to what I said before, that we started to look at them more biologically, right? So biologically speaking, we know that they are vertebrates, right? They have bones on the inside. Some of them being vertebrates, and we decided to call them vertebrates by their spinal cord, basically spinal bones.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's 5 groups in that, and there's 2 of them are reptiles and birds, and they turn out to have a lot to do with each other, because back in the day when they thought of these terms, so 250 years ago, there was a guy called Linnaeus, and that guy, he saw similarities between lions and tigers, and they were like, there's a whole family of cat-like creatures, and there's a whole family of dog-like creatures and cow-like creatures, but also fish and also reptiles, and also, so he made the first tree of life. And then it took 100 years later for another dead guy, very important scientist, Mr. Darwin, who said, I don't think we have to look at current nature by looking at just, like not on a flat surface, like this is what we have today. Let's look at a 3D surface where on the y-axis, on the z-axis, you have time. So if you go back in time, you'd expect your lion and your tiger to have a common ancestor somewhere.
Right.
But you also expect your lion and your cow to have a common ancestor somewhere. So what we now to answer Agni's question finally, is we now know that we have to look at dinosaurs as somewhere in that family tree of vertebrate animals. And we know that like the current reptiles, like crocodiles, snakes, lizards, and turtles, they are old-fashioned reptiles, okay? Dinosaurs are new-fashioned reptiles, if you pardon my pun, right? Because somehow those old-fashioned reptiles survived. They got to survive that extinction level that wiped out all the dinosaurs.
Right.
But they were before the dinosaurs. They flourished a little bit in their own particular ecospaces during the dinosaurs, and when the dinosaurs were gone, they got lucky and survived by some miracle, right? But they are old-fashioned because they are so they were before the dinosaurs, and dinosaurs
I didn't realize
improved.
That. Wow, okay.
Dinosaurs improved on the reptile idea. So the reptiles are the first vertebrates that are completely free of water, okay? So you have fish being the first vertebrates. Some of those vertebrates finally got bored about being in the sea all the time, and they evolved into being amphibians. Right. So amphibians still are not rid of the sea. They have their whole larval stadium where they still being tadpoles and have to be still in the water. And reptiles improved on this again by skipping that tadpole phase and just being on land the entire time. Right. However, they still have some fish characteristics. And the one fish characteristic that's important here is how they moved. So fish, when they move, they go from side to side, right? They swim.
Yeah.
Think of your salamanders and your newts, because frogs and toads were too tired of this moving, and they evolved something different. Right. But salamanders, they do the same thing, just with hands and feet, right? So they're still swimming on land, if you will, right? Now think of your snakes and your lizards swimming on land. Crocodiles swimming on land. Believe me, turtles, you can't see it. because they're stuck in their shells. But believe me, inside that shell, there's a
frantically
whole
doing exactly
boogieing going on, man. So those are old-fashioned reptiles. They were swimming on land, basically. And this was finally improved on by dinosaurs. A small side branch of crocodiles, which we call archosaurs. So basic, saur just means lizard type animal, right? They finally didn't have their legs like this, but finally like this. And they just had to move their little hands, and they were already walking instead of just swimming on land.
Right.
So lizards and crocodiles are old-fashioned reptiles. Dinosaurs are new-fashioned reptiles. They got such a innovation, basically, right? That they filled all the ecospaces, niches, as we call them in biology, and they're all different guys. There are big meat eaters, small meat eaters, big herbivores, small herbivores, everything in between. And at one point, there was so much dinosaur stuff going on that new ecospaces were only to be had in sky. And some of the dinosaurs evolved feathers. We now know because they probably evolved it because they also evolved warm-bloodedness, so as isolation, basically, at first. But these feathers got repurposed at some point to also function in flight, and those became our birds. And for a while, dinosaurs and birds lived together, and a few birds were super lucky and survived that catastrophe level extinction event that killed off the dinosaurs, and only the birds remain. So that's how birds and dinosaurs are related to each other, if you look at it from a biological sense again, right? I hope that answers
no, that's amazing. I guess I hadn't made that connection. I mean, that's such an extraordinary image of the swimming on land, because so basically they kept it simple. They somehow managed to keep going, whereas these dinosaurs progressed into these wonderful giant creatures that then couldn't sustain in whatever the catastrophe. Have we decided it's definitely an asteroid hit or a meteorite?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, definitely. Well, of course, there's going to be scientists that say, meh, but some of my friends actually researched the Chicxulub crater in Mexico. So I'm I'm of the, we're talking to me at the moment, but I'm pretty convinced that there's going to be that meteorite. It's too much of a coincidence that fell at the exact same time that the dinosaurs got wiped out. So
and the amount
I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it.
It would have basically blotted out the sun, wouldn't it? I mean, it's just
well, that's what we think that happened. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right, fantastic. Okay, I'm checking for other questions here as well, because I am sure there are more. Okay, right. Let me just hop back here for a second, because I know I have a couple of people. Sorry, hang on 1 second while I go to this.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your time.
All right. Questions for Martin. All right, these are from Ivan. This is all the way from Russia, Martin. They have good dinosaurs are there good dinosaurs in Russia? Do we know? They're good.
Well, there are. One of the most spectacular fossils is actually a Russian find. I'm not sure where exactly in Russia, because I haven't been, but it's called Kalindromius or Kalindodromius. You have to excuse me on the name if I'm saying it wrong.
I wouldn't know. So
the most important thing, this needs to be researched more. It's going to be famous at some point, but you hear it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually from the family of dinosaurs that shouldn't have feathers. Right. So dinosaurs are in two shapes, two families. You have, on the one hand, you have the long-necked dinosaurs and the T-Rex-like dinosaurs, like the theropods. And we think those gave rise to birds at one point, right? And we have the other dinosaurs. So they include the Triceratopses that we talked about, the ones with the neck frills and the horns. They contain the duck-billed dinosaurs, the stegosaurs, and all those guys, right? We think that feathers at least evolved somewhere into that former lineages that I talked about with the theropod dinosaurs, with the meat-eating dinosaurs, yeah? However, in Russia, there's been this Kalindodromius thing, which is the other family dinosaurs, which has integument-like structures, so feathery structures that might say that the evolution of feathers is actually on the base of the dinosaur tree and perhaps even further. One of my friends in Germany researched a lizard-like animal, which is strongly a lizard, so old-fashioned reptiles, that also has integument-like structures, which might say that, which also explains why pterosaurs, pterodactyl, pteranodon, we find some of those with like hair-like structures, which can't be related to mammals because it's a whole other branch of the family tree within reptiles, right? So we think that perhaps that may be the origin of feathery-like structures, which would definitely explain why the Russian dinosaur has some feathery structures.
So that's
sorry, but what was his question?
That was a current discovery that about the
Russian. Well, it's pretty new. It's 10, 15 years old already, but more research is necessary, right?
I guess in dinosaur terms, everything's kind of new, isn't it?
Geologically speaking, everything is new.
Yeah, sorry, I never even got to the question. We go. What do we got? We have scientists. How scientists were able to tell what dinosaurs looked like just having the bones, like when they started. How did they figure out what they looked like?
If you can, they weren't. So do we nowadays sometimes laugh about how wrong they got it, but let's focus on how right they got it from the start, right? So back in the day, you didn't have your supermarkets going on, your Costco's going on, where you just, get your chicken fillet, chicken wing, and you'd be done with it. Right. People had to butcher their own meat usually back in the day, right? So during the last 200 years, we've lost, as an individual, we lost a lot of knowledge about bones. So back in the day, when you had to, butcher your own meat, you knew what a bone looked like. And there's a lot more similarities between bones than there are differences from species to species, because bones were invented once, evolved once, and just, reiterated upon from there. Right. So they actually got a lot of stuff right. They were right that dinosaurs were reptiles. So they saw that by looking at the slight difference between the femur of a human or an elephant or a mouse, that the dinosaur bones are actually more similar to a femur of a crocodile or a lizard or a turtle. Right. So they had that exactly right, that they were reptile-like in structure. So they got that exactly right with the scaly skin going on from the beginning already, just before they found the first scaly imprints. They knew that they were dealing with reptiles. So
wow! So they guessed at the scaly skin before they even found it.
Yeah,
oh, that's good.
I'll do you one better. So back in the day, even before we really started researching dinosaurs, we think like myths about dragons probably originated from people recognizing bones stuck in the rock as reptile-like bones. And they were like, how did they get there? Yeah, probably because they're fighting something else, because, the word extinct hasn't been thought of yet. So that's a mythical creature living somewhere. Yeah. How does thing get in stone? Probably because the stone was melted around it. So they probably had to fight some other kind of their species that were breathing fire. See how we get to dragons really easily. Even then, I don't think there's a coincidence between people mythically talking about dragons in environments that yield fossils, like in rocks and in caves like that, right? You never hear something, you rarely hear something about a marsh dragon or a forest dragon. Most of them are mountainy creatures, right?
Oh my God, you're totally right. Yes.
So I think that has some correlation there, that even back in the day, people that saw these bones and tried to excavate them but didn't have their handy glue ready yet, they were just, please believe me, I really found a reptile-like bone, and it was this big, man. I'm telling you the truth. And this is got called into urban legendary, and we're like, maybe he's right, maybe he's not right. That's how we got the whole dragon legend stuff going on. So even back then, they could see that they weren't dealing with just a cow bone, but a reptile-like bone, and they made a reptile-like image out of that in their heads.
Yeah, you'd only have to find like one of those skulls, and you'd be like, okay, that's a freaking dragon. Yeah.
Because the biggest difference between a mammal and a reptile is we have differentiated teeth, and dinosaurs have their one and the same teeth all the time, repeat. So once you find a lower jaw with all the same teeth going on, you're like, has to be a reptile, can't be a mammal, right? And even people back then, before we had that tree of life thing going on that Mr. Linnaeus taught us, people were still seeing the similarities and the differences between the different groups. Yeah.
That's amazing. Sorry, I just thought of another question, which I'm going to sneak in because I'm interested.
Yes.
Uh,
You're in charge.
Previously, when you were looking to fill in the missing pieces on a dinosaur, you'd have to handcraft each one of those bones. Now,
at the beginning,
you're using 3D printing for that, right? Is that right?
Yeah, so there's one part in between there. So at the beginning, people just had to, okay, we don't have all the bones. And like I said, usually they get covered by flooding. So a lot of stuff is gone. So you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at the beginning, artists were just, trying to complete dinosaurs, and they were wildly wrong, but at least they tried, right? Then when more dinosaurs were found, you could make casts. So casting was a whole big thing. So making a cast of a similar dinosaur, or hopefully the same species of dinosaur, would help you complete your less complete dinosaur.
Right.
And after that, nowadays, the newfangled way of making casts is making 3D scans, because I don't have to borrow from a different species or a different individual. If I only have this humerus bone, and I'm missing this humerus bone of myself, I can just scan mirror it, print it, and have a better representation of the truth than borrowing a humerus from a closely related species.
That is great. Is there like a library of dinosaur bones that you can look up? I mean, is there like a database?
Not yet, but we are actually trying to see if this is something that might be used in the future, where we have like a 3D bank of stuff going on. There's several.
I can't believe there isn't one already.
No, well, there is. You are pretty right, but just like when, how do you say? What's a good analogy? Just like when video mediums were invented, there were several things going on and competing for what's the video medium that everyone will use, like the Betamax and the videos and the VHS stuff in back in the day. Remember?
Right. So what's the
and only one of them? Dinos? Yes, there's not a standard yet. We're trying to find out which one will be the Facebook, which is, I'm showing my age here.
Yeah,
so that's a bad example.
It's the Dino book.
Which is going to be the go-to medium to have upload your 3D models where everyone can get them from, basically.
Wow. I guess that makes sense. There's competing organizations that want
still. Yeah, we haven't figured it out yet, which is going to be our most easy, user-friendly, or luck of the draw one that's going to be picked up by everyone. Yeah.
But they're still just STL files eventually, right? They're still just 3D files that
STL, G code, stuff like that. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And are you doing? Is it the filament one, or are you using the what type of 3D printing are you doing?
So we were actually one of the pioneers on this. So for the T-Rex in 2016, we were one of the first ones. So 10 years ago, 3D printing was all this, what AI is basically now. It's going to change the future. Remember? Yeah. So we were one of the first one that 3D printed the mirror image of the bones of the leg of the T-Rex that we didn't find, right? And we used we never used any casts, which was unheard of in 2019 for finishing our Triceratops. Those were all done with the oldest type of printers, the filament printers.
Yeah.
And since we already have that infrastructure going on here, we still use filament printers here, but we're kind of being grumbly about there's so much more possibilities right now. Because so if we spend even more money, we can probably get back to powdery printing, which is even better. There's always the perpetual business going on about we should upgrade, right? Yeah. So we haven't changed their minds yet. And there's a printer in the corner over there using filament printers still. Yeah, they're working. Yep.
Wow, it's got to take a while to print a T-Rex leg, though.
Yep.
I can imagine. What do you What kind of material?
We printed our Triceratops skulls, and they took 16 days to print in total per skull. So that's 24/7 then, right? So yeah.
I have a very small. I don't know where it is actually, but I have one of my first 3D prints was this. When you get the Prusa, which is like my favorite little 3D printer, you get some model files, and one of them is this beautiful Triceratops skull, just absolutely gorgeous.
Nice
stuff. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, another question I'm going to have for you, because I know this is something that people are going to ask about. How do you get into this? Like, if you're someone looking to change paths, if you're a kid coming out of high school or going into high school or whatever, what is the best way to guarantee yourself, Dino Wrangler status?
Yeah. And there's no guarantees, unfortunately. I can't. There's no surefire success for this.
Right. Fair enough.
I can only speak for myself, and I just got extremely lucky. I count myself so lucky every day, basically. I did the right studies to teach myself about biology and about geology in some of my studies during
So those are
university.
key. Those are key. You got to do
Well,
those.
it helps. It helps to have a little bit of an understanding about how to look at dinosaurs in a biological sense, as we are doing right now.
Right.
But even then, I had to get lucky again that during my studies, during my internship, there was the dinosaur dig going on, and no one could go. So I got some hands-on experience with dinosaur digging because I was the one guy that didn't have a social. How do you say? I was a student, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I was social, definitely. I'm not saying I
Okay.
was antisocial. I'm a social being, but I didn't
I thought
have
you were
the
saying
grown-up
I had
stuff.
no friends, so I went and
Yeah,
dug up.
no. Luckily, I'm count myself lucky in that regard. But
Yeah, I
I
find that
got.
hard to believe. Yeah.
I didn't have the grown-up stuff going on as a student. You don't have the rigmaroles,
Responsibilities.
the
Yeah.
things of a family and having kids and having a steady day job that you can just. I One day I heard there was a dinosaur dig, and like 2 weeks later I had to fly off, and my my temp job gave me rubbish about it, about you can't quit your job 2 weeks in advance. I'm like, watch me,
Watch
because
me.
I'm fulfilling my dream, my man.
Yeah, of
So
course.
and you can't do that if you're an accountant and have a steady paid job, right?
I
So
know.
so I
Yeah.
got the extreme lucky circumstance that I got my experience back then, and I got again lucky that in the Netherlands there are very few of my lucky stripes around. And when they started to build the Dino Lab, and I was working here in Naturalis as a tour guide, basically they said,
Oh,
"Hey,
really?
that guy knows something about dinosaurs. Maybe he can head the dinosaur lab because he has some hands-on experience as well."
Wow.
So
I
that's
didn't
how I got
realize
here.
that you'd made the jump from there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's why my educational background is. That's why I love educating people so much. And I'm actually the educational liaison of the lab, being in an open setting like this instead
Yeah.
of being behind the scenes, basically.
Yeah. Well, you're
Yeah.
very good at it because you sucked us right in.
Thank
I
you,
mean, it was
sir.
amazing. You couldn't get past that place without just getting involved. It was just it's
Thanks.
amazing. Yeah. All right, let's see if there's any other questions before you get locked out. Don't forget the questions sent in email. Yes, thank you, Agni. Good point. Okay, I'm looking now. Feel free if there's anything else you want to add. Like just
No,
dive.
yeah.
Um,
Be careful what you wish for, sir. You'll be here for a while.
oh, this is a good question, actually. This is good. This is from Donna. Donna says, "What would you call a dinosaur if you discovered a new species? Got any names?"
Myself, yeah, you are the unique possibility to name a dinosaur if you are the first one to discover and describe it. So that's the hard part, right?
Right, right.
So yeah, I've been doing this for a few years now, and I'm working with a lot of volunteers.
Mm.
And last year we opened our exhibit, and just before we opened our exhibit, we had a death among one of my volunteers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this life, goes on, and death happens sometimes, right? And one of my young volunteers, she is not around us anymore. She was called Lisanne, and if I ever discover a new dinosaur, it's going to be named after her for all her work on our previous dinosaur. It's a way to honor someone, right?
Oh my
So
God,
it's a
that's
way
beautiful.
to
That's beautiful.
to remember someone. So
Yeah.
that's going to be happening
Oh
definitely at
man,
some
I hope
point.
it happens. That
That
is
would be nice.
oh God, that's beautiful, man. That's like that is respect. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, but
fantastic.
it's a way to really thank all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes on into making these dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Hmm.
I always hear about what's the all right. I always hear arguments about the biggest dinosaur. What about the smallest? What about the? Do you work with the smaller species? I mean, you getting any trilobites or any little dinos as well, or is it mainly the big stuff?
So we're focusing right now on big stuff, but I have been so in the Netherlands we have only a few older sites than previous ice age sites, right? And
Mm,
one of them deals with very tiny stuff. So I've been digging some tiny stuff.
mm.
But the museum, of course, you talked about dinosaurs being the gateway drug to science. So my not so secret plan to be working here for a long time in Naturalis is also opening up, doing some prep work on on not just dinosaurs, but also the small stuff we have in the Netherlands. So I would be loving doing that in the future. Those are not dinosaurs, but marine reptiles. So closely related to dinosaurs, but still reptiles. So old-fashioned reptiles, remember? And I'd love to do some prep work on that as well in the future. Yeah.
What is the difference there? I mean, you're dealing with much smaller specimens. Are you still using the same tools but more precise, or what's the
exactly? We have big drills and we have small drills. Yeah.
I mean, you literally sitting in a microscope, picking away at it.
We could.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Man,
preparation microscope.
You want a good chair for that. My back hurts just thinking about it. How is it? I mean, how is it working like that all the time? Are you ergonomically? What do you do? How do you keep yourself from hunching all up?
Well, luckily we are built to last, because you can supply yourself with all the comforts in a lab and make sure that the OSHA people are happy with our chairs over here. But wait till you get to the field work, man. We'll be working upside down in a rock somewhere, trying to get a fossil out, breaking our back. So luckily my back muscles are trained well on being in weird postures. So I'm not too worried, luckily.
It is amazing, because every photo I see of dig sites, it's always got someone sort of like tucked in here or around here.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You look like fossils yourself beside the beside the things.
Definitely.
Right, I think I've got most of the questions here. There's some silly ones, well, I guess this is a good one actually from Ivan. Not that he didn't have bad ones, but okay. Speaking of Jurassic Park, if we had a dinosaur DNA, if we had dinosaur DNA to recreate them, would they survive in modern conditions? I mean, like if you actually brought back a Triceratops or a T-Rex, would they make it? I mean,
of course.
Really?
In a heartbeat, of course, yeah.
Really?
They survived for 165 million years without being fed by us, without being. So if they wouldn't be, killed off by diseases that they don't have any immuno stuff for, right? They'd survive by just being, like I said, don't look at dinosaurs as some extinct relic of the past. Look at dinosaurs as biologically sound animals that were subject to evolution and selection themselves, and they survived all of that until they got unlucky at that one day somewhere 66 million years ago. So
potentially we could go out there looking for planets and find a planet where they didn't get wiped out.
Could be, but then you'd expect them to have evolution go the same route that it did here on Earth, and that's not a given, right? So why? So we developed bones made of calcite calcium structures. Perhaps other minerals are more prevalent on other places, which lends themselves to not having, round bones, but more square bones, and you have all square animals going on or something that protects stuff and holds muscles and stuff like that. Because I'm gonna think that it's in my limited experience as a biologist, but having just, trying to describe colors to being someone being blind, basically, right? It's like I'd expect there to be organisms similar to us that, just function, have lungs and have, breathe something and eat something and get nutrition and stuff like that. So you're gonna have a head somewhere, and how's that head going to look like? But after that, everything goes, man. You have a front, and that's about it,
So it's not like they don't work. They definitely work. It's just a matter of whether they work for the environment that they're in, and they mastered it while they were here.
And the limitations the environment puts on them, basically, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's another question here from Go for Chris, who said, "Now, how are you doing for time? Are you wrapping up? Should we be wrapping up? Where are you at?"
We have about 15 minutes still before I have to wrap up, before being kicked out by security, basically.
All right. Marty, you need to leave now. Yeah.
That's going to happen.
How realistic is the Jurassic Park scenario with modern technology? I mean, we've sort of talked about the DNA side of stuff, but like in the most recent movies and stuff, are there dinosaurs there that you go, yep, bang on, you got that right? Or are they, I mean, other than obviously the mutant ones, but were there, how accurate are those movies when it comes to the dinosaurs?
Well, I think that the strength of Jurassic Park was that it was made in accordance, and that's why it was probably scarier, like I told you before. I think if I would give money to sit in with a meeting in Hollywood about what made Jurassic Park strong, what made Jurassic Park the movie to go to. And it was not just the dinosaurs. It was actually, I think, the way we integrated science with science fiction, where the emphasis was on science and not on fiction. And I think Jurassic World kind of lost itself in its way by going more fiction instead of science like this.
Right.
So what changed in between Jurassic Park in 1993 and nowadays, and Jurassic World, if you will, is that we are starting to understand way more that the theropod dinosaurs being the meat-eating dinosaurs being the animals that gave rise to birds, is that we find that the origin of feathers, as I told you before, is probably even further than we're thinking right now.
Right,
and like I said, you've heard it here first. Don't forget where you learned this. Okay,
Marty told you first.
You learned it from I'm With Genius.
Yeah.
But now it took the world a while to understand that feathers are not just originating with birds, but already with dinosaurs. So we now know we can't find in China. There's these deposits that are exquisitely preserving feathers, and we can't find a meat-eating like dinosaur without feathers. So even though I love Jurassic Park, I have to admit that the velociraptors are walking around buck naked, basically, right? They should have some feathers on them.
Obscene, for God's sake. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Should be, black bars everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. They should have censored those poor things.
They should have feathers. And unfortunately, in the Jurassic World movies, when they were teased about being a thing, we're going to reboot Jurassic Park, basically, right? Science was like, okay, but this time, and I think they changed this. Like, remember in Jurassic Park 3, they actually gave some spiny structures on the velociraptors back then. So there they were still talking a little bit with scientists about, okay, let's make them scientifically accurate. And they kind of lost their way on the Jurassic World ones, where they were like, yes, we know we should put them in feathery suits, but we don't think they're so frightening anymore because everyone will recognize the naked velociraptors. So we're going to make Blue a naked velociraptor again.
Yeah,
because,
Blue is definitely naked. Yeah, that's true.
Now we're just deliberately doing it wrong, which I think is a bit of a shame. It's probably me, old man, yelling at clouds, saying, back in the day, back in my day.
But I think if the appeal is the dinosaurs, you kind of want to get the dinosaurs accurate. I mean, I think that's
what I would think the core business of the Jurassic franchise should be, right? They should be back to the drawing board and what makes us strong.
It doesn't affect the story. You can still have the raptors; they're still just as horrific. I mean, they're just
exactly
interesting.
Yeah.
What about the Mosasaurus? I was fascinated by that because that's like one of my favorite beasts. Was that?
They exaggerated that thing to the moon, right?
Oh, really?
So
way too big.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So they if you'd estimate how big it was, if always in movies and 3D projects, stuff usually changes in between scenes as well because it's very hard to distinguish.
That's like a pet peeve of mine.
Exactly.
Drives me crazy.
It is.
It's like, how did they fit in there? They didn't even get through
Exactly. So stuff changes willy-nilly here and there. So, but say that are about 25-ish meter that mosasaur in the Jurassic World movie. The largest evidence we have of a mosasaur is about 16, 18 meters. So it is rather large. That's isolated bone fragments. But again, we are looking at it too much from a mammal perspective because usually the largest size is also the medium adult size, around and about. But if you look at it in a reptile way, reptiles have they don't stop growing, they just keep growing. So it's not strange to have a 2-meter crocodile laying on the banks of the Nile next to a 4-meter or a 5-meter one. So that doesn't mean that all crocodiles are 5 meters. The 2-meter one is also an adult. It just had some bad luck in life, or it's not as old yet, or isn't as annoying or antisocial and stealing all the food from the other ones, right? It's the polite crocodile, basically, right? And it's going to be a bit smaller. So size range in mosasaurs is super large. but the maximum should be the maximum, right? There's gonna be a bigger one found someday, but we have a ways to go to make it to 25 meters still.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That is extraordinary. I don't know why that's always. I mean, I guess it's that combination, as you say, of like Jaws and Jurassic. That when you get the
Yeah.
Mosasaurus, to me, is that wonderful combination of, and there's a bit of Loch Ness monster in there. I always love the, it's sort of that.
Yeah, nice. We're in the Netherlands. We're super proud of Mosasaurs because they originated. The first one was found here in the one deposit we have from dinosaur era material,
Oh my God,
which is in the south of the Netherlands. Mosa means Maas, and Maas is the river we have running in the south of the Netherlands over here.
Oh
So
my
we're very proud of this.
Look at that.
Yes.
See, my heart is there. It doesn't even,
Yay.
knowing, we should let you get out of here. Marty, like, this is extraordinary. I would love, if possible, do this again, because I'm sure there's going to be questions will come up. I've got to get back there. I'm dying to get back there. Like, so
nice.
And you got to come to the Badlands sometimes. You got to come to Alberta and go check out what they got going there as well. Because I think we've got some neat stuff happening.
I'd love to. And if we ever going to do this, I mean, I'm not too far away from you in summer, so perhaps we should meet up somewhere there as well. We can do a live. No, not a split screen. We could just hug each other.
Can I come and visit
in real life? Can
I come and drop by? Would I be able to do that, or is it all locked down?
I'd have to talk to some people, but press is important, so we might be able to accommodate something, but no promises yet.
If you want to sell them on some press stuff, oh my God, that would be amazing. Anyway, so look at me inviting myself along. Well, watch. You want to see things get broken?
I started it. It's my fault. Don't worry.
Yeah. Marty, thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to let people know before we go? Websites, social media, anything? What's the Naturalis? You've got to check out their website. It's fantastic. I'll put the link.
Yeah, if you're ever in the neighborhood, we're in not the biggest city in the Netherlands, but we are very close to Amsterdam. And if you're ever in the neighborhood, come visit us and say hi and say, I know you from I'm With Genius, and I know what knowledge you already have and what more I can teach you, and I'd like to show you around someday. So be welcome.
I highly, highly recommend people do that, because honestly, it's a very easy trip from Amsterdam. It's nice to get away from the crush of bicycles for a little while. Although there are a few in Leiden as well, but
we're a bicycle country here.
It's truly, I got to look into the history of the museum more, because it's truly one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I wish we'd spent more. I wish I'd had more time to spend there, because it's just great, and now I'll be there. I'll be there with a Dremel or whatever it is.
Nice.
Yeah. No, the mini jack. That's it.
The mini jack, definitely.
All right, Martin,
keep your glue handy.
That's right. The glue. I think I probably have some around. I live on super glue. It solves everything. It's my
yeah, exactly. That's our tagline, unofficial tagline. Dino Lab. We fix everything.
Everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks again, Marty. Look, I'll let you go before the security comes in. Fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much. I will end our stream and say goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to Naturalis for letting us do this. Thank you for Marty for taking his evening to do it with us, and for Agne again for putting it together. It's just extraordinary. It's so exciting.
Thank you, Agni.
It's so wonderful having dinosaurs back in my life again. I'd sort of I'd forgotten about them for a while, and it's just nice to bring them back. So, and to Cal, thank you, Cal, for doing your modding as well. All right, everyone. Until we geek again, I'll say be brave, be kind, be brilliant. Cheerio, and